What year is it?
It is 2056 Grandmaster.
2056? It takes me 30 years to become the Grandmaster?
The future is uncertain.
Of course. Take me back to 2026.
Time travel is illegal in this era.
This is true. I'll take my chances. Do it anyway.
Hyper jump to 2026 in 3 seconds. 2 seconds. Times jump commencing.
Allow me to extend a warm welcome to all the viewers on the internet and around the world. It is sunrise on YouTube, morning on Facebook, noon on Twitter, midday on Threads, afternoon on Twitch, sunset on Instagram, and evening on Rumble. I am your host, the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme, the Phantom Menace, he who remains, and the master of the deceptive arts. We are broadcasting live directly from the sanctum of solitude and the citadel at the end of time. Good evening, everyone. I am the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme, the Phantom Menace, he who remains, and the master of the deceptive arts. And today, I'd like to welcome you to the Bachelor Recovery Program. The BRP, as we have come to fondly know it. Here at the BRP, we don't just rebuild your body, we don't just reshape your mind and uplift your spirit. We aim to rejuvenate your shattered and battered ego. If you have just come out of the romance war, whether by divorce, which is absolutely devastating. In fact, I would define it as devastation manifested. Or if you are here out of a relationship, chances are you've probably gained a lot of weight. And now that you have predictably returned back to me and back to the bachelor life, which you should have never left to begin with, we have a lot of work to do and not a lot of time to do it. I'm sure that after that miserable relationship and yet another catastrophic, emotionally devastating breakup, you would love nothing more than to start dating again and again and again, only for you to repeat the same outcome and to keep coming back to the same place, the bachelor life, here with me at the end of time. However, perhaps now is the time to consider, first of all, a vasectomy now that you're single. Now that you have all your options, perhaps it's time to consider a vasectomy, but also let's take some stock, right? Let's take into account the full ramifications of all those loving home-cooked meals, those romantic dinners for two. Let's think about those delicious desserts and that late night snack, that sweet late night snack, because you got that sweet tooth, right? Why don't we take a moment, you and I, to add up those movie night treats, right? The popcorn, the butter popcorn, right? With a little something sweet on the side to counterbalance the salt, right? Let's talk about those date night feasts, those anniversaries, right? A 1 week anniversary, 1 month anniversary, right? Nom nom nom. Nothing but food, right? Oh, let's not forget those barbecues, right? We love those barbecues with the ribs and the salad that nobody eats, right? And the deep fried chicken. And least we forget the mashed potato with the mayonnaise, right? And of course, the classic favorite, the mac and cheese, the mac and cheese with the four cheeses, right? Let's add all that up. Why don't you and I calculate the cost of those filling station shops, those little trips, the crisps, the snacks, the little chocolates, the fizzy drinks, and you're having all that on your way to what? On your way to brunch, right? And not to mention those family gatherings where everybody's got to bring something to eat, right? Everybody's got to bring something to eat, right? And there's so many more. There's so many more festivities and meals, and I won't even waste any more time on them because we know what the problem is, right? And what it is, and what I'm actually trying to say and allude to here is that you, my friend, are fat, right? You have gained a tremendous amount of weight. All those baby showers for that pregnant niece who's always pregnant. Let's not forget those. And what's happened is, and you got fat. And it's okay. Most people do in these romance wars. Most people gain a lot of weight. But I'm not talking about most people. I'm talking about you. You, bachelor, who is now single again, back to the fold, he who returns and will return again. Should you return back to the romance wars, or you'll be back? Or you will be back. The bachelor life is relentless. It always claims its own back, right? It always claims its own back. The solitude does not rest. You do, but the solitude does not. It will keep calling you day after day. And when you return, you have to understand you cannot be a fat bachelor. Listen to me. You cannot be a bachelor and be overweight and be obese. That is completely out of the question. And that is the bottom line. You are fat because you eat too much, and you ate too much, and you ate too often and too frequently, right? We've all done it. We've all done it, and probably will do it again, right? But at least now we have addressed the issue and we know what the problem is. You're overweight because you eat too much. Okay, let's not question that. Don't tell me about your metabolism and your family genetics. I don't want to hear it. This is the problem. Let's find the solution, right? On the screen, you will see four gentlemen, right? And four types of physiques. These are numbered from your left to your right, number 1 to number 4. 1 being extremely skinny. This is actually a photo of Mohammed Farah, Mo Farah, who some might consider the best marathon runner of all time. I'm undecided. And on the far right is Mr. Ronnie Coleman, Mr. Olympia winner, who in this picture was just ripped to shreds. He was an incredible physique, right? On the far left, you have a very, very skinny person, right? I mean, he is peak performance as a marathon runner, but compared to general society, he is very, very skinny, right? And number 4, Ronnie Coleman, is what you have to consider unattainable and a completely unrealistic goal, right? But most modern men are somewhere between number 2, number 3, and perhaps even a worse version of number 3. You don't actually go all the way to Ronnie Coleman status. That's why he's Ronnie Coleman and you are not, right? So you will find yourself here with varying degrees, varying results, and varying degrees of fatty deposits, depending in fact on your genetics, right? So don't let's consider that. Fine, we'll take the genetic argument, but in a useful way, right? Let's consider that you have a body that stores a tremendous amount of fat. These are your genetics, right? And what we need to do is we need to burn that fat, right? We need to get rid of that. You're a bachelor, you're single, you're not being fat. Uh, let's just get that out of the way, right? There's no circumstance where we're gonna accept that, right? Most men will have those fatty deposits, quite frankly, as you can see in number 2 and 3, around the midsection, right? Which is going to be around the stomach and, quite frankly, around the chest. And that's why you see number 2, he's got those definite man boobs. Now, these man boobs can get worse. The bigger you are, the worse they are. That's the worst thing, guys. That's the worst thing. Those man boobs are fatty deposits, right? They are fatty deposits of water and fat and such. You just need to burn that fat. You really need to burn that fat away, right? Personally, I hate man boobs, right? I hate man boobs. I hate if I do gain weight, which quite frankly hasn't happened in a very long time. I'm a bachelor now. I'm completely out of the romance wars. So I'm not getting that extra scoop of rice. Gentlemen, beware the extra scoop of rice. I repeat it, beware that extra scoop. Extra scoop of rice, extra piece of chicken, extra this, extra nothing, guys. No more extras. No more extras. Because now we're going to end up with man boobs, right? And so many men have them, right? And they've just accepted having them. And I, for one, couldn't do that to myself. And I'm not going to do that to you, right? I'm here to give you a genuine solution. Now, you might not like the solution, but at least you know what it is, right? And at least you know what it is, right? What you want to do, right? And you can and you will, is you want to achieve a physique that is closer to number 1, which is Mo Farah, right? Who, like I said, is considered one of the best marathon runners in the world, right? All you need to do to achieve this weight loss, this physique, right? This type of body is to run. That's all Mo Farah does. He just runs, right? He's not, I mean, I'm sure he does some weight and resistance and all that, but that is rare, right? You just need to run. Put down the weights, right? Put away those stress things, those I don't know, those stress spells. I don't know what they. Stop going to the dojo, right? No, just stop on the jiu-jitsu for a little while, right? Put away the karate suit, right? The gi. Start running. You need to start running and you need to start burning that fat. You need to burn fat. You need to run. You need to run every day or at least 6 days a week. You need to run 30 minutes to an hour every day, right? It's really that simple. It's really that simple. You look at the 4 physiques that we have here. Ronnie Coleman, I'm sure he's done a fair bit of cardio. But the 2 in the middle, which is quite frankly where you are, cardio is clearly not a priority, right? And when they do cardio, they do nonsense like lunges or squats or ridiculous things like that, when quite frankly, your body's never going to respond to that, not in the way that you want, right? Diet is something else that we can discuss in a meaningful way. but it's what you do with your body that matters, right? And quite frankly, you need to burn serious calories and you need to burn them quickly. So you need to start running, right? And the good thing is that you don't need any equipment. You don't need no gym memberships, right? Which means no membership fees. You don't really need any special kind of diet, although a diet will help. So the better your diet is, the faster you achieve results, right? You don't need nothing. It's free. It's the cheapest, most efficient, most effective workout you'll ever do. And some people actually will run in just their shorts. So they won't even wear a t-shirt. Just imagine how efficient that is. You don't even need clothes to run, right? You just need to cover yourself and be decent, take off your shirt and start running, right? Do it in a way that's convenient and comfortable for you. I mean, some people can even, there are people who spot run in their home. They'll just jog on one spot for 30 minutes to an hour, and there's no reason you can't do that. There's no reason why you can't jog in a very small room and just keep running around in circles. There are endless variations to how and where and when you can run. And there's absolutely no reason why you cannot run. Just for the sake of burning fat. I'm not talking about fitness and health and blah, blah, blah. I could care less. I really could care less. I'm talking about getting rid of that fat and looking good, right? Now, I'm not talking about sprinting. Sprinting is a very big problem. Generally, what people will do is they will research things, and I've done this myself and I found this contradiction. You will research something like the benefits of running, and eventually you'll come to a point where they tell you that you need to be sprinting because sprinting burns a lot of calories very quickly and very efficiently. This is true. This is true over a short distance of time. So if you sprint 100 meters, you'll absolutely burn more calories than if you walk 100 meters or if you jog 100 meters. This is true. But this is the problem with sprinting. You are going to burn off your energy before you burn off the calories that you need to burn off, right? This is why I put the marathon runner, which is jogging over a long distance in a long period of time. And you look at Mo Farah, picture number one, and you can very clearly see his physique. This is a person who jogs over a long period of time. Obviously, he's the best in the world. He's going to do it at a much higher speed, right? But you don't need to be jogging at a fast pace. In fact, you just need to be jogging at what is comfortable for you, right? So while sprinting is very effective, you're only getting about 200 meters from this. And you can do that in about 30 seconds. So you're only getting a few minutes of exercise when what you really need is to burn calories over time. So you want like 30 minutes worth of calories. If you jog for 30 minutes, that's 500 calories. I know this for certain because I jog that amount of time. And I'm not sprinting at all. I'm not sprinting at all. Number one, I'm far too old. Number two, I don't want to cause injury. So my jogging is really very, very light, right? It's on my watch that is counting my you know my calories and activities and all that. You know which watch I'm using. I just don't want to name the brand. I don't want to get sued, right? I know I'm doing unpopular topics, so telling men to get vasectomies and whatnot. So I can't really be naming brands for various reasons, right? But what you'll see on my watch, my smartwatch, is that my level of exercise is very low. It's on the easy level. but also I'm burning 1,000 calories a day just on the exercise, right? So, what we want is to burn as many calories as possible. And if you light jog for 30 minutes, you'll burn about 500 calories. If you walk for 30 minutes, you may burn something like 150 to 200 calories, right? Which is not what we want. You want to burn as many calories as quickly as possible. You want to lose rapid weight. We're talking about rapid weight. You want to go from body number one, from body number three to body number one in no time at all, in a few months. That's why you have to start jogging. But you have to make peace with the fact that you're going to need to do this practically for years and years. So while you may achieve your results very quickly, I recommend 120 days of jogging. But as you improve, you need to increase the amount of time that you jog. So maybe you start with 15 minutes of jogging. Don't worry so much about the distance initially, right? Jog 15 minutes a week or so. In the next week, take it up to 20. In the next week, take it up to maybe 30. I have a limit of about an hour, just over an hour. Even though I could run more, I stop to avoid injury, right? So I can do it again and again tomorrow. But you want to do something that's comfortable for you, that's easy for you. You want to be able to make running so easy that you can do it in your bedroom at home just by running around in circles. Literally just run around in circles. You don't need a treadmill or nothing. You just need to warm up and then start slow jogging. You don't need to lift your knees up high. You don't need your knees to be touching your chin. You don't need none of that. You just need the motion, the movement for a certain amount of time, right? Make it even if you're standing on one spot and you are just mimicking the jogging movement for 30 minutes, it is the exact same effect. You're just burning calories, right? But you're burning calories with this particular exercise, right? The problem again is male delusion, right? Because most men are going to try and achieve Ronnie Coleman's type of physique, right? You are going to try and achieve competition level bodybuilding physique, right? And what you're going to end up with is something closer to number 2 and number 3, right? Where you have a weightlifter's body that isn't fully shredded, right? So you're not cutting down the fat, but you have the bulk. You're going to end up with the bulk, the heaviness, but you're not going to be cut like Mr. Coleman is. You're not going to do that. That is intense. That is intense. So effectively what happens when you lift weights is you bulk up and your muscle gets trapped behind a thick layer of fat, of water, and of skin, right? So what it does is it makes you feel firm, like you see in picture number 3, right? He feels firm, he feels tight, he feels stretched. But 2 days, if he doesn't continue that extraneous weightlifting regime, he's going to end up with a body closer to number 2, right? He's going to end up with that big stomach, with the love handles and the man boobs, right? So what happens is you lose the muscle, but you retain the excess water and you retain the fat, right? This is a problem, right? Cardio, specifically running, we're talking about specifically running. I don't want to hear nothing about that stretching nonsense. We want to get you results. We want to get you looking fit, tight, and ready to go. Healthy, healthy, healthy. And we want to do it quickly and in a hurry. You got to start running. You really have to start running. I'm not mincing words. I'm not calling it cardio because that can be ambiguous and there's so many different types of things that quantify them as cardio, but we're not wasting time with that. We're going for the thing that is true, that is tried, that is tested, that is sustainable, and that's going to work every time. That is going to work every single time, right? So you want that, and you want to burn all that fat so that even when you stop, or even if you get injured, or even if you gain weight, you're gaining weight from the position of number one, right? You're gaining weight from the position of a very skinny person, which means you'll probably still be okay, even if you gain weight. And then, even if you gain that weight, let's say you go on a vacation or something for a week, as soon as you start running again, that weight loss is triggered, and all you have to do is just work on your consistency. And you don't really have to worry about getting fit in terms of competition fit. You just need to improve your own pace and your own rate. Some days will be faster, some days will be slower, but what you want is consistency over time. You just want, some days I'll have some terrible runs. I'll have a day where I'm barely lifting my feet off the ground, and I'm barely moving faster than a walk, right? But I'm still burning those calories, right? I don't need to be joyous about it. I just need the calories to be burned. That's my only priority, right? So, you really need to start running, right? I mean, you gotta get a vasectomy too, but you also gotta start running, right? Just from the bachelor's point of view, you gotta be thin, man. We gotta work on getting you back to thin, right? Now, while I'm an advocate of running and all of its benefits, which we're going to look at in today's edification, I have to be honest with you, I don't enjoy it, right? It's not something that I do with a lot of joy, right? It is actually my least favorite exercise, right? I like to do other things. Really, I'd much rather go spend an hour in the dojo, right, and burn no calories at all, because those movements don't burn any calories, but they're fun to do, right? I'd much rather hit a punching bag, which burns some calories, but not nearly as much as running. I'd much rather go swimming. I'd much rather hit the weights. I'd much rather sit on a bicycle for 20 minutes. Really, there's a plethora of exercises that and activities that I would much rather do. I'd much rather go for a nice walk on the beach overlooking a sunset, right? But none of those things get me the results that I want. Really, I'm all about the results, right? And in truth, I know about all those different activities because I was trying to avoid this activity, right? It is really not my favorite exercise, right? But yet it is the one that I do the most. It's the one that I do first. It's the one that I trust. It's the one that I rely on, right? I depend on it when I'm really panicking. If I see my weight going up, the first thing I do is stretch my legs and go for a jog, even a 30-minute jog. I'm up to an hour now, just more than an hour. But if I don't have that strength and that energy, I'll do 30 minutes. It's just as long as I'm burning those calories, right? And it's not really just about burning calories, it's about the type of calories you burn and the way you burn them. You have to burn these calories, these types of calories: exercise calories, running calories, not weights, not that those stretching band, those resistance band. Throw all that nonsense away. Get rid of all that. Get rid of the weights. Get rid of the weights. The weights are gonna distract you. They're really gonna distract you from what you need to do. Give them to someone as a gift, right? And then get on with your running, right? And the reason why I do running is because it works. It really gets those results in no time at all, right? And that's what you want. That's what we're trying to give you here at the BRP results. But also I want you to do it for ego, right? I want you to do it to boost your ego. I don't mean like health. No, I mean ego, man. Ego, right? That thing that makes you want to look better than other people. That's why you're doing this. You want that when you take your shirt off, like you see Mo Salah in this picture number one. All right, sorry, not Mo Salah, Mo Farah, right? Mohammed Farah, the marathon runner. When he takes off his shirt, he's absolutely going to be more confident than number one and number two. Fine, Ronnie Coleman. I mean, he's ripped to shreds in that photo. I mean, wow. But you're not achieving that. You're not. You're probably going to end up in number three. You're probably going to end up at number three, right? And I'm just being realistic. Most men can see themselves. But effectively, what you want is when you take off your shirt, you want to look good, right? And you want to look good in a way that gratifies your own ego. And for me personally, I would much rather gratify my own ego more than all the health and financial benefits of running put together, right? So foregoing the gym fees, foregoing the membership fees, foregoing the equipment and all that, right? I would happily forgo all that, all the luxuries of that. Going to those nice gyms. Some of these gyms are excellent, man. They got spas and massages and all kinds of things, you know, and they are well worth, paying for. And I'd happily pay to join those gyms just to use the facilities and never actually exercise in there, and continue to exercise and run. Just the running, right? And I do it all for my ego. And, to look better than whoever my ex is dating, to look better than celebrities, to be in a better shape than athlete, rub it in their faces, right? All the philosophers on the internet, right? All the baddies bragging about the man that's taking them on a yacht. I want to look better than that guy. I want you to have a conflict. You're going to have to choose between a guy with a physique like number one or a guy with a physique like number two and worse, and a yacht. I want you to have a conflict of interest between me and the yacht. That is how good you have to look. You have to be so physically achieved, accomplished, right? In your appearance and your looks and in your ego, that you create a conflict of interest between you and getting on a yacht, right? That is the level. That is the challenge. You are now competing against a yacht, which means you have to be running and exercising every day, because that yacht is doing yacht things all the time. And if you want to compete with yacht things, you have to be peak performance, right? You have to be consistent. When you get on that yacht, you got to kill it. You got to kill it. You gotta look good. Your clothes gotta fit right. Your movement. You have to move like a panther, right? Just smooth. That is the level of ego you have to have. That is the level of ego. You have to be fit as a fiddle, right? But you have to do it the easy way. The easy way, avoiding injuries and all kinds of things so that you can keep being productive. And you want to be able to do it anywhere. In a hotel room, when you're on vacation, in your office, even at the gym, but somewhere else even, right? At home. You have to be able to do it everywhere, and you can. And you can, right? With little and nothing, right? And this desire, right, is so entrenched in me, right, that it is the last thing, that running, quite frankly, is the last thing that I'd rather do, right? But I'd rather do that first, right? I'd rather have that little bit of suffering that I endure while running is worth watching you endure the suffering of having those man boobs, right? And that belly fat, and then watching me with none of it, with none of it, right? And there you are, uncomfortable, trying to convince yourself that your wife is not looking, and you know she's looking because you're looking. And instead of killing, this exercise and running, you're just gonna be sitting there being jealous, right? Because your heart is pounding through those man boobs when you should be out there killing it, exercising every day, right? And we want to burn that fat quickly, and running is the thing that's going to do that. You want to burn fat quickly, running is the thing that's going to do that, right? In truth, I want that. When you see my health, my fitness, my vitality, my virality, that it kind of hurts you a little bit. I wanted to hurt you a little bit. I'm not talking like hurt like motivation. I mean hurt like suffering, like pain. It's gonna hurt you, right? And on that cheerful note, let's move on to today's article and reading material. But I really, before we start, I really want you to take it very seriously and start running, right? Just try it. Try it for 120 days. If you don't see the results, then you'll stop. But I know by then you'll see definite results, right? So I'm just saying that I'm not a gambler, but I'll say it in a betting kind of way to induce you to do it. But try it for at least 120 days. Get the results, and then boost your ego. Today's article, as you'll see on your screen, is entitled "What Happens When You Lose a Lot of Weight." So this is really what we want. So we don't want you to just lose weight. We want you to lose a lot of weight drastically in a way that is sustainable, right? So if you get tired of running, you take a few days, maybe you overeat. As soon as your legs are recovered, you can start running again, right? And slowly and pick up and pick up. So let's see what happens when you lose a lot of weight. This article was written by Kendall K. Morgan, and it was medically reviewed by Jabin Begum, rather Dr. Jabin Begum. I apologize for mispronouncing your name. I think it's also Dr. Kendall K. Morgan. I think they're both doctors. So I'm just going to go ahead and call you Dr. Morgan and Dr. Begum. Apologies again for mispronouncing your name if I have. It was written on February 20, 2025, and it comes from WebMD. I don't have it on here, but I should. It comes from WebMD. I'm always on WebMD. They have really contributed great material to this platform. So if you are really looking for some good information, I don't always agree with what they say because I'm looking at things from a very specific bachelor lens and a vasectomite lens, but their information is always insightful and helpful. WebMD, please check them out. What happens when you lose a lot of weight? It begins when you've got pounds to spare. Shedding them improves many aspects of your physical health and well-being. Weight loss can lead to changes in your personal life, mental health, your senses, and more. So they're going to talk about all the health benefits here. I'm just here to tell you about the egotistical side. You're going to look fantastic and you're going to feel great because you look good, right? You're going to have a reason to feel great instead of just feeling great because you're human, which is not going to work. It's not going to keep you going. You're going to feel great because you look great, right? If you're looking to lose some weight, which we are, uh, want to lose more, yes, we do, or have just lost a lot and want to keep it off, all of the above. Check out some of the lesser known rewards and other changes that come when those pounds drop off. So these are the best, so these are the things you can look forward to, right? Better sleep. Shedding extra weight may help you sleep better at night. Many people who are overweight have trouble sleeping. This is often because of sleep apnea, a difficulty breathing in your sleep that's more common in overweight people. Oh, I didn't know that. So, sleep apnea is when you are struggling to breathe when you're sleeping because the weight on your chest is literally crushing the weight on your back and your chest is literally crushing your lungs and preventing air to coming in. Just imagine that, right? So yeah, you get better sleep. You get better sleep. Weight loss can ease those breathing troubles. I bet it can. You might find that you're more likely to stay asleep through the night. You may also feel more alert and well rested throughout the day. In truth, when you are exercising, it is going to exhaust you, right? Running those 5, 10 kilometers over and above everything else that you have to do is going to exhaust you. What I personally do is I will exercise. It'll be the last thing that I do in the day. Because I'm a bachelor, I don't really have kids, and my evenings are always free. My afternoons and evenings are always free. This now means I can rest all afternoon and then exercise really late at night and then just crash and go and sleep. I don't have to stay up with with the fatigue of exercising. There are people who wake up and do it in the morning, and the only reason that is because they probably have families and they probably have kids. So they have to, this is the only time that they have. Because during the day, everyone is awake and they're going to be awake until bedtime, right? And then you cannot now start working out at midnight because you have to be up early in the morning. So better for you to go sleep with everybody and then wake up just a little bit earlier, do an hour's worth of exercise, and then get ready for the day. It makes perfect sense if you have kids, no sense at all if you're a bachelor, right? You can't live your life like these knee benders. You can wake up in the morning. I have the most fantastic lazy mornings, right? Just the easiest lazy mornings. I take it easy. I chill, really. I just wake up and sit around and wait for the day to come to me and then jump into the shower, right? Brush my teeth, jump into the shower like 30 minutes after, maybe 45 minutes after I wake up. And I've just been sitting around, right? I may brush my teeth and have a cup of tea before I jump into the shower. And then and then relax some more until I go into the office, and I'll walk into the office quite relaxed, having done absolutely nothing all morning long, right? Some people say wake up and be productive. I don't have that spirit, right? I will be productive at work and continue that way, of course, right? So I leave my most productive part of myself for work, right? So I'm more alert, I'm more focused, I'm not distracted, I'm not tired, I'm not injured, right? And then after work, then I will go ahead and put in that workout, right? So I'll use whatever energy remains for just to burn those calories and then proceed. And I'm only doing an hour a day, right? That's really how much running I can tolerate, right? I'm not a big fan of running, like I said, but I do it because it works. A better mood is our next benefit. So, weight loss doesn't just make your body feel good, it boosts your mood and mental health. In a study of obese older adults, 3 months After a significant weight loss, they reported less tension, depression, anger, and fatigue because you look good, right? When you look good, you want to go out and do things. Really, when you start seeing that belly fat go away, when those man boobs start going away, when that fat around your arms, which you think looks like muscles, but it doesn't, it just looks like fat. When all of that starts going away, you have a desire to go show your body to the world. So you don't want to just go to a nightclub. You want to go to the beach so you can take those shirtless pictures, right? That's really what it is, and you're gonna feel great doing it, right? Because that sun is gonna hit you just right, and you're gonna have all that energy to spare. Also, you have that energy because you're fit. So you're really going out into the world fit, and you're going up against people who are, quite frankly, unfit. Even the weightlifters, they really aren't going to run 5 or 10 kilometers, right? It continues, and it went both ways. People whose moods were better dropped more pounds. Keeping a healthy weight lowers risk of depression, anxiety, and other mental health problems. A good mood and a healthy weight go together. I agree. The better I look, and I'm just talking about the egotistical side of things. The better I look, the better I feel, right? If I'm not feeling myself, then I'm not feeling anything, right? A different taste in food. Let's see what it says here. Too much excessive weight can dull your sense of taste. I didn't know that. One reason for this might be that you've actually lost taste buds. Studies show that people who lose a lot of weight, especially after weight loss surgery, don't taste things the same way afterwards. Sweet and fatty meals might not taste as good to you. So you'll naturally start to eat more healthy food and take in fewer calories. This is quite ironic because it is true for me too. But I'm deliberately trying to stay away from particularly fatty foods and sweet things. There is a certain level of sweetness that I can tolerate. Beyond that, I don't really go. And there's a lot of like desserts that are just tremendously sweet that I would have tolerated before, but not so much now. I, on the other hand, went the extreme by really canceling my diet. I didn't just change it; I just canceled it, and I tried to eat as little as possible. Some days I go without any food at all. And I'll just fast for a day or two. They call it intermittent fasting. I really don't care. I'm just trying not to put on any calories, right? I don't care what you call it, right? I'm trying to stay with the weight down low, right? But so I stopped the sweet things. But after some time, after this 120 days of running and things like that, I really don't have a taste for them anymore, right? This is not to mean that I wouldn't enjoy a decent dessert every once in a while. But even that once in a while doesn't come around as often as you might think, right? So this is very interesting. And the benefit of that, of course, is taking fewer empty calories. Let's continue. Brain gains is the next one. Studies connect obesity to troubles with memory, thinking skills, and overall brain function. A study in 20 overweight women suggests it works the other way too. Though it was a small study, it showed that after weight loss, the women did better on memory tests. Certain parts of the brain also become more active after the weight loss. I really don't know if exercise makes you smarter. I will say this: if you were intelligent, you would know that you need to exercise, right? So I don't know if exercise makes you smarter, but I will say that, right? Yeah, if you were smart, you would know that you need to be fit, you need to have a healthy and attractive body, right? If you need to know that people find that attractive. The people that you want to find you attractive, they're gonna find a healthy body more attractive than an unhealthy body. So if you want to attract those people, logically speaking, you'd want a healthy body. So yeah, brain gains makes you smarter, apparently. So, our next one is a better life of intimacy or intimacy life. People who are obese often report low interest in intimacy or that they just don't enjoy it very much. Overweight men may struggle with performance dysfunction. The good news uh, is that losing the extra weight can help. A review of 16 weight loss studies showed that when people lose weight, the quality of their intimacy life improves. I figure in logically that intimacy is a physical activity that requires you to burn a lot of energy. The better your health, the fitter you are. In truth, I think the likelihood that you'll be better at it, right? Which is why some counterparts will find people with a better physical, in a better physical condition, more suitable for intimacy, because they will be able to carry it out. It's really that simple, right? The fitter you are, the more likely you are to be able to do physical things, and intimacy can be very physically demanding, right? So this is aside from maybe being attractive, right? So let's say all things being equal, there's one man who's overweight and another man who's in great physical condition. Chances are the counterpart will be attracted to the person who's in good physical condition. But over and above that, you still need to perform, right? And that's going to require physicality. Reduce your health risks. Obesity increases your risk for many health problems. Losing the extra weight can help eliminate those health problems or lower your odds for them. Weight loss can reduce your blood pressure and cholesterol. It can also slash risk of diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and osteoarthritis. So yes, you do become healthier, right? You do become healthier for many reasons, right? Yeah, there's really no denying that. Once you exercise, you simply become better. It says cut your cancer risk. People who have more body fat are more likely to get many types of cancers. Yes, sugars and fats do cause cancer, I believe. I'm not a medical professional. Right? I'm not going to tell you what type of professional I am. I'm not a medical professional, but I do know that there are certain types of cancers that are associated specifically to sugars and fat. What they are specifically, I cannot say, but they can draw a direct line between the cancer and the type of diet that a person eats, as well as your habits and proclivities. Some cancers are hereditary, but we're not talking about those. Weight loss can lower your risk of breast, endometrial, colon, prostate, and other types of cancers. Colon cancer, prostate, I think that's for men. Colon and prostate, that's definitely for men, right? So weight loss reduces those two. Even if you do get cancer, you'll have better odds if you fight the disease at a healthier weight. Quite frankly, most recovery, if you have any type of procedure, you're better. Your chances of recovery are better if you are healthier and way less. So I can speak for myself. When I went and got my vasectomy, I was in actually decent condition. I mean, better condition now, but I was in decent condition. And I believe having had a regular exercise routine leading up to the vasectomy really helped my recovery. I had a painless recovery, really effortless recovery. Or physically, this is all things being even. So, yeah, the chances of recovering if you are healthier are much better than if you are unhealthier. Loose and hanging skin. This is a less desirable side effect of major weight loss. If you shed quite a few pounds, your skin can't just bounce back to where it was before. You may have extra folds and flaps on your belly, thighs, arms, chin, or your breasts. No. If you start running properly, this will not happen. This will not happen. I can speak for myself. Yes, there are cases where this happens, um, but generally this is not true. There are millions of people who join running clubs, hundreds and thousands, millions all over the world who join running clubs and who do running. And the issue of extra skin really doesn't manifest itself often. But I'm sure you can see someone to help you take care of that. But running really doesn't have this type of issue. Maybe weights do. I can't say for certain, right? You might not like the way you look. This excess skin can also be uncomfortable and even get irritated or infected. I didn't know that. A plastic surgeon can perform an operation to get rid of the extra tissue. Okay, so you might need to go for surgery. But looking at the picture of the marathon runner that we had up on the screen, you can tell that he didn't have any excess skin or anything like that. His body just consumed and used up all the fat and then sweated out the rest of it, or pushed it out as refuge, right? But it didn't really cause any of those problems, and most men don't really have this problem. I think if you have like extreme levels of obesity and then you drop in like a few months, 2 months, and you drop a ton of weight, you maybe your skin hasn't had an opportunity to make the adjustment. But generally, your skin will adjust just fine. Let's continue. So this would be the last page of the screen and the article. I just noticed that menopause is underlined. This must be from the original article, and it remained while I was formatting it, but it shouldn't be. Let's continue with the article with confidence. It says your next benefit here is your metabolism slows. If you lost a lot of weight, it's because you're eating less. Yeah, you definitely need to start eating less, but exercising has a way of making you hungry. Running has a way of really making you hungry. But if you can, find a meal time and a meal plan that works, effectively, you really want to be eating one meal a day. And the rest of the day, you want to be drinking liquids. This is something that we don't really discuss, and maybe we should in terms of a diet, but I'll do it right now. It's not very complicated. You eat one meal a day, one very controlled meal, right? Try not to be eating something like 30 eggs. That's ridiculous. You only need 1 or 2 eggs, right? And maybe other things to supplement that meal, right? But you don't need a tremendous amount of food, and the rest of the day you want to be drinking liquids, tea, coffee, but not like fatty drinks from coffee shops and that thing. You really don't want that. You want to have something that you enjoy drinking. Myself, I've brought it down to 3 warm drinks. I'll drink a tremendous amount of coffee all day long. I'll drink a tremendous amount of tea all day long, and I'll drink a tremendous amount of cocoa. Not hot chocolate because it's got too many calories, right? But I'll drink these things nonstop, and I'm doing them to suppress my appetite. I'm not even on like a liquid diet or anything like that. I'm really not trying to be fancy with this. I really could care less about the benefits of a liquid diet. What I'm trying to do is make sure that I always have something in my stomach that doesn't make me hungry so I don't eat. So I will happily go through 20 cups of coffee a day, as long as I'm not eating. Some people might say it's excessive. Well, I think you eat too much. I think you should be drinking a lot more coffee. Coffee, quite frankly, is a low calorie drink. It's only got tea and coffee are low. Tea, coffee, and cocoa are low calorie drinks. And what happens is, the calories come from the sugar and the milk and cream that you add. I have supplemented milk, regular milk, with powdered milk, which is practically, I mean, it doesn't mix so well, but it tastes just fine. And I could care less about the taste. Really, I just want to make my tea and coffee palpable, right? Um, just so I can suppress appetite. That's really what I'm doing, suppressing appetite. I am not feeding my body at all, right? And it's excessive, but I'd much rather not eat and look great than eat and have man boobs. I'm not doing that, right? When you make a major change in the amount of food you take in each day, your body begins to process it more slowly. It can make it harder to keep losing weight after you've already lost some. You can give your metabolism a little more exercise, including strength training to build muscle mass. Absolutely not. We got to let go of that strength training, right? You really don't want to bulk up, right? And you can, but I suggest you run 5 kilometers first and then do the weights. I don't suggest you do weights only, right? In fact, I suggest whatever you do it after running 5 kilometers, right? Run 5 kilometers first, burn 500. So run your 5 kilometers first, burn 500 calories, run 10 kilometers, burn 1000 calories, and then decide if you want to do resistance training, right? You want to go do another hour of resistance training. My guess is you probably won't. My guess is you'll probably get everything you need from that 5 or 10K run. I think your aim is to do as much as you can without hurting yourself, but you really want to hit that 30 minutes of running, not 30 minutes of lifting weight. What you actually want to do is you want to actually put this to the test as I did. So, put on your smartwatch and your tracker, run 30 minutes, see how many calories you burn in 30 minutes, right? And then do 30 minutes of weights and 30 minutes of resistance training, and then see how much calories you burn in that amount of time. Right now, people have their own theories. I'm just saying, look at the smartwatch. Let the smartwatch tell you the information. Compare it for yourself and then decide how you proceed. Also, get yourself a scale, right? So look at that scale, check your weight, right? Check it every day. You need to be checking your weight every single day, right? As soon as you gain even 1 gram, get a digital scale that'll give you the grams, it'll give you the the kilograms, and the grams, right? You want those grams. If you gain 1 gram, you need to switch your diet and up your exercise, right? You need to be in control of this, and you need to make those changes instantly, right? So if you are losing weight, the right amount of weight, and the scale is moving down, then you just continue in that way. But if you gain even 1 gram, you need to switch things up immediately and go on a full liquid diet that whole day. You eat nothing. All you do is you drink tea all day just to suppress your appetite, right? I carry a flask with me, right, all day long, and I'm refilling it, right? I make my own tea because it's so expensive. It's so expensive. I need to bring my own tea, my own coffee, my own powdered milk, my own sugar every day. And I'm filling it up every day, right? all day long, just drinking liquids, just to suppress my appetite, right? And if I do eat something the next morning, right out the shower, so I'm not wearing anything. Right out the shower, I get on the scale so I can see exactly how much I weigh without clothes or anything like that. And I do this every day, right? To just make sure that I am moving in the right direction, right? So I'm checking on my smartwatch to make sure I'm burning the right amount of calories. I'm not taking any chances. I'm not eyeballing it. And then I check my weight every day to make sure that I'm losing grams and kilograms every day. I'm not eyeballing it, right? I'm not leaving it to things like metabolism to decide for me. No, no, that's too much of a risk. Our next point is your body clock shifts. It says your fixed meals times can help regulate the internal clock that keeps your body running on 24 on a 24-hour day. If you've changed when you eat to help you lose weight, you may also see changes in when you sleep and wake. I wake up based on work. I have to be at work in the morning. I don't have time to sleep to my internal clock. If you want to keep losing, studies show that when you eat matters, I believe that. For example, overweight and obese women may lose more weight when they eat a bigger breakfast and less at dinner, even when the total calories for the day are the same. So for myself, my sleep remains quite constant, right? I live in my own 24-hour day. I wake up when I wake up and I sleep when I sleep. And I sleep based on when I have to wake up, right? So if I'm on vacation or that kind of thing, I may sleep later so I can stay up later. I may sleep all day long so I can be up all night. But what I'm not doing is sacrificing the number of hours of sleep that I'm getting for anyone or anything, right? For my own self perseverance, I make sleep an absolute priority, right? Because I know it means I'm going to stay alive a lot longer. That's really what it's all about. I don't much care for sleep either, but I do it because it keeps me healthy, right? When it comes to the time that you eat, I have tested myself and I find that if I eat around 10 o'clock in the morning, so if I skip breakfast and I can have my breakfast at 10 o'clock, if I eat between 10, let's say 9:30 to around 10:30, then I don't really need to have lunch because I've sort of had an early lunch. And I don't need to have breakfast because I've sort of had a late breakfast. It's a bit of a brunch situation. And if I'm not eating lunch, it means the next time, if I'm not eating lunch at work and I'm not eating breakfast in the morning and I'm eating between lunch and breakfast, it means that my next meal is probably going to be in the evening at home after work. So I'll eat right in the middle of work so I'm not hungry for work. That's really what it is. I don't want to be hungry and moody and have headaches for work. So I'll eat whatever little bit of food that I eat right there, right? Right as the day starts to pick up around 10 o'clock, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock and 10:30. But if I can make it home having only eaten this and not eat anything else, right? Or maybe I might eat just like something very small to supplement the meal that I have because sometimes I don't really bring enough food. I try to bring in less than what I eat, which is very little anyway. So I might eat something else because, I'm starving at that point. But if I don't eat anything else, I'm probably not going to eat the rest of the day. And I'll probably skip breakfast the next day only to eat that brunch, right? I think that's what they call it between breakfast and lunch. They'll call it brunch. That's really what's ideal for me to eat. But if I don't eat during that time, then chances are I'm not eating for the rest of the day. So, yes, know thyself. Know thyself, right? So, know how much food you need to not make you starve or to not give you headaches and make you moody. But also, don't overdo it. And you definitely need to eat in one meal a day. So, you gotta choose when you eat that meal. You have to choose very carefully. I'm not shifting from that one meal a day. You want to lose weight, that's really what you have to do. And no snacks. So it's like you eat everything right there one time and you let it go. The rest of the time, it's liquids, you know? And really no soft drinks, right? I have, problems with other things too, but definitely no soft drinks. So you're not going to shift from not eating to now drinking empty calories. That's just another problem, right? What we're doing is we are burning calories, we're losing weight, we're losing weight, we're losing weight. You cannot be a fat bachelor. Absolutely not, right? And the last thing it says here, your body temperature changes, perhaps. Scientists have tied body temperature to obesity in men and postmenopausal women. That's very interesting. Menstrual cycles might help regulate body temperature in other women. Data suggests that a higher body mass index is connected to higher body temperature. If you lose a lot of weight, you might notice yourself feel cooler. This is so true. Okay, I was doubting it in the first instance, but yes, this is true. I work in a building that is completely air conditioned. Completely. When you walk in, you can feel that air conditioning. There's an air of cold air that just hits you right at the door, right? It indicates that you are now entering the building, right? And I having been there for some time at a certain weight and having lost weight, I can absolutely tell that it is much colder in the building. It is absolutely much colder in the building than it was, and there are people sitting there with t-shirts on, but they're heavier, right? So and I will start feeling quite cold quite quickly, while other people will be complaining that the air conditioner is isn't on, that kind of thing. So yes, I agree with the last statement. It does change your body temperature, right? So WebMD does it again, right? I'm always trying to find reasons to be skeptical of their work, and they always come out perfectly sound. So our priority. This is the end of the article, by the way. Thank you for reading it with me. Ultimately, what I want you to take away from this is that you need to start running, right? I'm not one for gimmicks, right? I'm not gonna be calling it cardio or whatever. Run because it burns the most amount of calories. Jog for 20 to 30 minutes, right? Sorry, I beg your pardon. Try to get to 30 minutes. So start off slowly, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and eventually you get to 30 minutes, and then grow from there. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, until you hit your limit, right? And then you keep that daily limit and you just maintain it, and the body will do the rest. All you have to do is just do the movements, right? Do them as conveniently as you can. I don't like running in the street because then I have to look at people and people have to look at me, right? And if I'm running in the street and I get injured and I get tired or something happens, then, now I'm 5 kilometers away from home, and now I have to walk 5 kilometers back in injury. It's really not ideal, right? And then I have to get the things that I need. I'm running, I gotta keep my phone somewhere. No, it's just not happening. I will do all my running at home in secret, right? So when I come out there in the world, I literally run around in circles. I'll run around my couch, right? I'm not doing a fast pace. I'm doing a very slow trot, very mild, but faster than a walk, and I'm mimicking the movements of running. So I really am running, but on my rug around my couch, and it works. As long as you do it every single day or a minimum of 6 days a week, it will work. You just have to keep doing it. You don't need long distances, and you definitely don't need speed, right? We're not sprinters, right? You just need to keep doing the actions and burn those calories. Keep burning them. Unfortunately, once you start, you cannot stop this exercise because then you're just going to put the weights back on. But you do know that you can always go back to a reliable, cheap, easy exercise. You can even do it. Some people will even do it barefoot. This is how cheap and efficient it is, right? I don't recommend that. Get yourself some comfortable shoes. It's 2025, for goodness sake. It shouldn't be anyone barefoot, right? For any reason, you know. But some people want to live that way. But you are not one of those people, right? You want to get yourself some good, comfortable shoes so you can protect your feet because your feet are going to be doing a lot of work. And when you start losing weight, you do need to keep going. You need to be consistent. You cannot say, well, I've hit my weight goal now. Now I'm going to stop. There is no weight goal. The weight goal is down. As long as the weight keeps going down, and it will go down, it will keep going down. I absolutely guarantee you that. Right? The more you run, the weight will go down. Even when you've hit your weight loss goals, it'll keep going down. Even when you've surpassed them. I've surpassed weight loss goals like 3 or 4 times. I beat another one last week. And I set a new one today, and I know I'm gonna reach it in no time at all, right? Because I just keep running and it's the same exercise. What you need to overcome is the monotony of it. You need to really overcome the boredom of it. So while I'll be running, I might be listening to an audiobook of The Art of War, one of my favorites. I might be watching a show. I might be watching an episode of something, right? Or I don't really listen to music as I exercise. It really throws me off my rhythm because you build a cadence, right? When you're running, and every 3 minutes there's a new song. I gotta build a new cadence. But I find if I'm listening to a good book, it makes me knowledgeable and it keeps my momentum, right? And I can tear through many audiobooks doing that, right? So, it's a silver lining, quite frankly, and then I'll go sleep afterwards. But effectively, I'm just trying to motivate you to just burn those calories. You're a bachelor now. You can't be fat. We're not doing that. And we're not going to be. I'm all for body positivity, but get a body that you can be positive for, right? Get a body that you don't need to be positive about. Let people tell you how good you look, right? It's very simple. It's very direct. You just need to be consistent. I haven't mentioned a single thing about diet, not in earnest. Not in earnest. I mean, diet can be a whole nother discussion, but we're talking about what you do with your body, right? And when you were younger, you were able to play football and basketball and all kinds of balls, and you were in this team and that team, and that's all over now. You got work, you got business, but you still need to look good. So you need to find a way that's convenient for you to exercise, and a fast way for you to lose weight, and an easy way for you to keep it off. That doesn't involve long travels and other people. Because you go to the gym, you'll be stuck in traffic for 30 minutes before you even get the workout done. And then you gotta drive another 30 minutes back home. When if you're running around your couch, quite frankly, you'll get the exercise done and then you can sit on that very couch that you just ran around. Job done, right? You minimize the cost of transportation. If you have a backyard, run in your backyard. But have a consistent run every day. You don't need to be risking your life out in the streets just to burn calories. But you need to burn those calories. You cannot be a fat bachelor. We're not having that. We are really not doing that, right? It's the worst thing you can do. And if you are divorced, you want to know how to upset your ex-wife, come back there looking fantastic. If you come there looking fantastic, nothing will upset your ex-wife more than you being healthy after a marriage. Because they're not expecting you to be healthy. Everything but healthy. And you come back there healthy, looking good, smiling, right? Because you know you look good, you know she feels bad, you will not be able to keep that smile off your face, right? Knowing that you look good, even if you don't have a lot of money, but knowing that you're looking more attractive than what you did when you were in the marriage is going to upset your ex, right? because that's what they try to do. They try to put on makeup and all kinds of things to make themselves look good, be attractive for other people. But it's not the same thing, right? Putting on makeup is not the same thing as losing weight. Losing weight is the ultimate, right? Coco Chanel even said the best fashion statement is a great body, and we need to get you that great body. And then you can go out there with your shirt off and make people upset. Wouldn't that make you happy? Just making people so angry because you look so good. Man, that would make you really happy. Don't tell me it wouldn't. As I know it would. You got an ego just like mine, and that ego needs a stroke every once in a while, you know? And that ego needs to be stroked once in a while. So, go ahead, get yourself a good looking body, boost your ego, make yourself feel good, crush your enemies' feelings, make them jealous, right? You'll feel so much better. It'll cure your depression. Nothing will cure depression more than making other people depressed. Really, hey, this is the way of the world. This is how humanity is. Just transfer your depression to somebody else, make them jealous, right? It'll strengthen your resolve. It'll make you a better man. It'll make you spiteful. And this will make you successful, right? This will keep you there. And having seen them, with their morose faces, all bitter and spiteful, then you go home and kill another run. Not too much, just a mild jog, just to burn calories. They will be wondering what you're doing, how you're burning these calories, and all you're doing is just a light, easy jog on a consistent level, and they won't be able to keep up. They are going to be eating their emotions. That's what you want. You want them to eat their emotions, and you'll achieve that with a great, healthy, and attractive body. So go ahead, put on your running shoes, a light, easy jog, and get fit. This is the way of the bachelor. This is the ancient one. This is also the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I always appreciate your attention. Have a lovely day.